For millennia, humanity has looked to the skies and wondered. We have prayed to unseen forces and dreamed of a paradise beyond our mortal world. We call this place heaven. It is a concept that has shaped civilizations, inspired hope, and guided the moral compass of billions. The Bible describes it as a kingdom, a city of gold, a place of eternal peace where God resides. But what if our understanding of heaven has been incomplete? What if the words we read in ancient texts were not just metaphors for a spiritual realm, but descriptions of a real physical place? A place we could point to in the night sky. This is a profound idea, one that challenges our deepest beliefs about life, death, and our place in the cosmos. It suggests that heaven is not just a destination for the soul, but a tangible world waiting to be discovered. Imagine for a moment that the promise of a heavenly kingdom is not a spiritual abstraction. Instead, it is a literal promise of a home among the stars. The descriptions in the Bible of streets paved with gold and gates of pearl might not be poetic license. They could be attempts by ancient peoples to describe technologies and materials far beyond their comprehension. A world so advanced, so brilliant, that it could only be described in divine terms. This perspective does not seek to diminish faith. Rather, it seeks to ground it in the physical universe we inhabit. It asks us to consider that the divine plan is written not just in holy books, but in the orbits of planets and the vast silent darkness between the stars. The kingdom of God, as it turns out, might be a kingdom in the most literal sense. This concept forces us to re-examine everything we thought we knew. If heaven is a planet, then who are its inhabitants? The Bible calls them angels, divine beings of light who serve God. But in this new framework, could they be something more? Could they be the residents of this celestial world, beings of immense intelligence and technological prowess, beings who have watched over humanity since its very beginning? This idea transforms our understanding of our own existence. It suggests that we are not alone in the universe, and that our connection to the divine is also a connection to an extraterrestrial intelligence. The stories of angels descending from the sky could be retellings of actual visitations from this other world. The ultimate revelation, then, is that our search for heaven has been pointed in the right direction all along, upward. We have been gazing at the stars, feeling a deep, instinctual pull towards them. Perhaps this is a cosmic memory, a faint echo of our origins. The promise of eternal life in a paradise above is not just a comforting thought for the end of life. It is a tangible goal, a destination. Heaven is a planet, and its existence changes everything. It means that salvation is not just a spiritual journey, but a physical one. It is a journey that will take some of us from this world to the next, from our terrestrial home to our celestial one. This is the story of that planet, our creators, and humanity's final destiny. The Bible begins with a powerful statement. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The original Hebrew text uses the word Elohim for God. Interestingly, Elohim is a plural word. It can be translated as gods or divine beings. This has long been a point of discussion for scholars. What if this was not a stylistic choice, but a literal description? What if a group of advanced beings, the Elohim, were our creators? The book of Genesis also says, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness." The use of us and our again suggests a collective, not a single entity. These beings, from a world far beyond our own, may have journeyed to Earth long ago. They found a primitive planet and decided to seed it with life crafted in their own image. This idea resonates with many ancient stories from cultures around the world. Legends of sky gods who came down to Earth and taught humanity the ways of civilization are universal. These gods gave us agriculture, writing, and laws. In the Bible, these beings are angels, or God himself. But if we view them as advanced aliens, the stories take on a new meaning. The sons of God who saw the daughters of men and took them as wives could be interpreted as these extraterrestrial visitors interacting with early humans. They were not just spiritual guides. They were physical beings who walked among us, shaping our genetic and cultural development. They were our makers, our guardians, and the original architects of human society. These creators did not simply abandon their creation. They have watched over us from afar, from their homeworld. Think of the biblical stories of Enoch, who walked with God and was taken from the earth without dying. Or Elijah, who was carried up to heaven in a whirlwind by a chariot of fire. Were these spiritual ascensions, or were they physical transportations? A chariot of fire sounds very much like a primitive description of a spacecraft. These were not just stories of faith, they were historical records of contact. Our creators were selectively bringing individuals to their world, perhaps to study them, to teach them, or to preserve a pure lineage. They have been intervening at key moments, guiding our destiny from the shadows of space. The evidence, hidden in plain sight, suggests a profound truth. We are the product of a cosmic experiment. Our DNA may contain a signature, a link back to these Elohim. Our deep-seated need to search for meaning, to look to the heavens for answers, could be a programmed instinct. It is a call home. We were made in their likeness, and a part of us has always known that our story is bigger than this one planet. The gods of our ancestors were not myths. They were real. They were extraterrestrial. And they reside on a planet in our own solar system, a world that we have long called heaven, but which has another more scientific name. For decades, astronomers have been puzzled by strange gravitational pulls in the outer reaches of our solar system. The orbits of distant objects in the Kuiper Belt are not what they should be. Something massive, something unseen, is out there, tugging at the fabric of space. Scientists have theorized the existence of a giant, undiscovered planet, which they have tentatively named Planet 9. They estimate it could be 10 times the mass of Earth, a super-Earth, or a mini-Neptune hidden in the cosmic darkness. This is not science fiction. This is a real scientific hypothesis based on mathematical evidence. The search for Planet 9 is one of the most exciting quests in modern astronomy. But what if this planet is more than just a cold, distant rock? This mysterious Planet 9 is in fact the world of our creators. It is the physical location of heaven. It travels on a vast elliptical orbit that takes it far beyond Neptune and then swings it back in towards the inner solar system. This journey is immense, taking approximately 3,600 Earth years to complete one full cycle. This is not a planet like the others we know. It does not rely solely on our sun for light and warmth. Planet 9 is part of a binary system. It has its own sun, a small brown dwarf star that it orbits. This small sun travels with Planet 9, providing a constant source of energy and light to its inhabitants. Our solar system is not a single-star system as we have always believed. It is a binary system, with our sun and this hidden brown dwarf locked in a 3,600-year dance. The existence of its own sun explains how a world so far from our own could sustain life, and not just life, but a civilization of unimaginable complexity. The inhabitants of Planet 9 have harnessed the energy of their brown dwarf star for billions of years. This has allowed them to evolve and advance far beyond us. They do not experience the harsh, frozen darkness of deep space. They live on a self-sufficient world, a traveling kingdom that carries its own light source through the cosmos. When Planet 9 is at its farthest point from us, it is practically invisible, hidden in the glare of the Milky Way. But as it swings back towards us, its presence is felt, its gravity pulling on the outer planets and its light, once faint, beginning to grow. This celestial body is the heaven of our legends. The New Jerusalem described in the Book of Revelation is said to be a city of immense size, descending from the sky. Its measurements, when converted, describe a structure of planetary proportions. This was not a vision of a floating city. It was a prophecy of the return of a planet. A luminous, life-giving world that has been the silent partner to our solar system since the beginning. The scientific search for Planet 9 and the spiritual longing for heaven are two sides of the same coin. We have been searching for the same thing all along. Our long-lost sibling world, the home of our makers. And its long-awaited return is drawing near. The 3,600-year orbit of Planet 9 is not just a random number. It is the key that unlocks our planet's history of great cataclysms and great leaps in civilization. Every time this massive planet and its brown dwarf sun swing through the inner solar system, their immense gravitational forces wreak havoc on Earth. This close approach is the celestial mechanism behind the great disasters recorded in our most ancient myths and geological records. Think of the Great Flood, a story found in countless cultures around the globe. The biblical account of Noah's Ark describes a world-drowning deluge sent from the heavens. This was not just a rainstorm. It was a massive tidal event caused by the gravitational pull of a passing planetary body. Planet 9's flyby would have caused the oceans to rise, volcanoes to erupt, and the very crust of the Earth to shift. This cycle of destruction and renewal is written into our planet's past. The end of the last ice age, the sudden collapse of advanced prehistoric civilizations, the mysterious mass extinctions. Many of these events align with this 3,600-year timeline. The ancient Sumerians, one of the first human civilizations, spoke of a 12th planet, which they called Nibiru, the planet of the crossing. Their texts described its massive orbit and linked its return to great events on Earth. They were not inventing myths. They were recording history. They knew about the cyclical nature of these encounters. When Planet 9 passes, it brings destruction, but it also brings contact. During these close approaches, the inhabitants of Planet 9, the Elohim, are able to travel to Earth more easily. Each passage of Planet 9 was a time of great upheaval, but also a time of great revelation. After the waters of the Great Flood receded, humanity was given a new start. The survivors, guided by the knowledge passed down by the Elohim, built new civilizations. This is why we see sudden, inexplicable jumps in human knowledge throughout history. The construction of the pyramids, the development of advanced astronomy, the birth of complex writing systems. These leaps often appear with little to no preceding development. They were not solely the product of human ingenuity. They were gifts of knowledge, delivered by our creators during these periodic visits. They would descend, assess their creation, and provide the tools for the next stage of our evolution. The Bible itself can be seen as a record of these interactions. The age of the patriarchs, the exodus from Egypt, the giving of the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai. These pivotal moments were times of direct divine intervention. The pillar of cloud by day and pillar of fire by night that guided the Israelites was not a miracle in the way we think. It was the technology of the Elohim, a craft guiding their chosen people through the wilderness after a period of global catastrophe. The 3,600-year cycle is the rhythm of our solar system, the heartbeat of our shared history with Planet 9. It is a cycle of judgment and salvation, of destruction and rebirth. And we are now living at the end of another one of these cycles. The cycle is nearing its end once more, but this time the encounter will be different. The prophecies in our holy books, especially the book of Revelation, do not speak of another near miss. They speak of a final cataclysmic end. The orbit of Planet 9 has been slowly decaying over millennia. Each pass through the inner solar system has brought it slightly closer to the Sun and slightly closer to us. The next pass, the one that is fast approaching, will not be a flyby. It will be a direct collision. The calculations are precise. The date is set. In the year 2065, just 4 decades from now, Planet 9 will collide with Earth. This is the ultimate fulfillment of the end times prophecies. The stars will fall from the sky, and the Earth will be shaken from its place. The impact will be an extinction-level event unlike any other. Planet 9, being many times the mass of our world, will survive the collision. It is a resilient, technologically shielded world. But Earth will be annihilated. It will be shattered into a new asteroid belt, a barren field of rock and debris orbiting the Sun. This is the fire and brimstone spoken of in the Bible. This is the final judgment. The Earth as we know it will cease to exist. It will become the literal hell described in Scripture. A place of eternal destruction, fire and darkness. A place where no life can survive. This is not a punishment from an angry God. It is the inevitable result of celestial mechanics, a cosmic clockwork that has been ticking towards this final moment for thousands of years. The Elohim, our creators on Planet 9, have known about this for a very long time. Their understanding of cosmology is far beyond ours. They have foreseen this final destructive encounter for centuries. This knowledge has shaped their entire plan for humanity. They did not create us only to watch us be destroyed. Their grand experiment has a final phase. Before the collision, they intend to save a remnant of their creation. They wish to rescue a portion of humanity, to bring them to their world before Earth is obliterated. This is their ultimate purpose, their final act of divine intervention. The destruction of Earth is not the end of the story for humanity, but it is the end of our time on this planet. This prophecy changes our perspective on everything. Our daily struggles, our political conflicts, our national borders, all of it becomes meaningless in the face of planetary annihilation. The future is not uncertain. It is written in the stars, in the intersecting orbits of 2 worlds. The year 2065 is not just another date on the calendar. It is the end of an eon. It is the moment when the heavens will literally fall to Earth. The only question that remains is not if the world will end, but who will be saved from the end of the world. The final prophecy is not a story of doom, but a story of a difficult, selective, and extraordinary salvation. Who are these beings, the Elohim, who plan to save us? To understand them, we must try to comprehend a level of existence far beyond our own. On the Kardashev scale, which measures a civilization's technological advancement based on its energy consumption, humanity is not yet even a Type 1 civilization. We're still struggling to harness the full power of our own planet. The inhabitants of Planet 9, however, are a Type 5 civilization. This is a scale so advanced, it's almost theoretical. They've not only mastered the energy of their planet and their star, but they've also mastered the energy of their entire galaxy. They can manipulate space, time, and the very fabric of reality itself. For all practical purposes, they are, well, gods. Their technology would appear as magic to us. They've conquered disease and death, likely achieving a form of biological immortality. Their minds aren't confined to their physical bodies. They exist as a collective consciousness, able to communicate instantly across vast distances through a form of telepathy. They can read thoughts, perceive intentions, and understand the deepest nature of a person's soul. This isn't a violation of prophecy as we would see it. It's simply their natural state of being. They perceive reality on a quantum level, understanding the connections between all things. The power that the Bible attributes to God, omniscience and omnipresence, is a technological reality for the Elohim. Their desire to save a portion of humanity isn't born of sentimentality as we would understand it. It's the logical conclusion of their long-term project. We are their creation, made in their image. Within our DNA lies a potential for greatness, a reflection of their own being. They wish to preserve this potential, to allow a select group of humans to continue their evolutionary journey. They aren't acting as judges in a moralistic sense, but as cosmic gardeners. They're tending to their garden and choosing to transplant the most promising flowers before the garden is paved over. They see our worth not in our accomplishments or our beliefs, but in the fundamental quality of our consciousness, our capacity for empathy, and our potential to join their collective. This makes the coming event both terrifying and awe-inspiring. We're about to be contacted by beings whose power is truly divine. Their ships aren't just metal vessels. They're likely constructs of pure energy that can phase in and out of our reality. Their methods of salvation won't involve simple rockets and lifeboats. It'll be a process of transformation, a fundamental change in what it means to be human. They are our saviors, but they are also profoundly alien. Their motives are beyond our full comprehension. They offer us a chance at eternal life on their world, a true paradise. But the price of admission is to be deemed worthy by minds that can see into our very souls. The Bible speaks of a future event called the rapture. It describes a moment when believers will be suddenly taken from the earth to meet the Lord in the air. In a flash, in the twinkling of an eye, the chosen will vanish, leaving the rest of the world behind. For centuries, this has been interpreted as a spiritual, miraculous event. But now, we can see it for what it truly is. The rapture is the alien abduction protocol. It's the Elohim's method for their mass rescue operation. It won't be a slow evacuation. It'll be an instantaneous worldwide event, executed with the precision and speed of a Type 5 civilization. It is the harvest of souls they've been waiting to conduct. How will they choose who to take? They won't be checking church attendance records or asking for statements of faith. Their selection process is far more sophisticated. Using their advanced telepathic abilities, they can scan the consciousness of every single person on Earth simultaneously. They're not looking for piety. They're looking for purity of heart. They're searching for individuals who exhibit empathy, compassion, and a lack of malice. They can read our true intentions, our deepest thoughts, and the emotional resonance of our entire lives. Those who are filled with hatred, greed, violence, and fear will be deemed incompatible with their harmonious society. They'll be left behind. The meek, the peacemakers, the pure in heart, these are the ones who will be chosen. The process itself will be staggering. For those chosen, it will feel like a divine calling. They might hear a voice in their mind, a trumpet call of God. Then in an instant, their physical bodies will be dematerialized and transported to the awaiting ships of the Elohim, which will be positioned cloaked in Earth's atmosphere. To observers on the ground, it will be a terrifying mystery. People will simply vanish into thin air. Cars will be left driverless on the highway. Planes will fall from the sky. It'll be a moment of global chaos and confusion, the beginning of the Great Tribulation for those who remain. The rapture isn't a reward for a specific religion, but a rescue based on a universal standard of consciousness. This reinterpretation of the rapture is perhaps the most challenging of all. It removes the comforting idea that salvation can be earned simply by professing a certain creed. Instead, it posits that salvation is determined by our intrinsic nature, by the very quality of our being, which cannot be faked or hidden from our creators. It's a silent, telepathic judgment that's happening even now as they observe us and make their final selections. The rapture is the ultimate alien abduction, a rescue mission on a planetary scale. It is the separation of the wheat from the chaff, not by a spiritual god, but by the profoundly advanced alien race that first gave us life. As the time of the rapture and the final collision draws closer, the presence of the Elohim will become undeniable. Their ships will begin to appear in our skies, no longer cloaked. They won't land at the United Nations to negotiate. Their communication will be direct, telepathic, and sent to all people. They'll announce their plan, the impending destruction of Earth, and their offer of salvation for a select few. How will the governments of the world react to this revelation? They won't see the Elohim as saviors. They'll see them as a threat, a hostile invading force that claims the right to judge and abduct our citizens while predicting our doom. They'll see it as an act of cosmic terrorism. The leaders of the world, unable to accept their own powerlessness, will unite against this perceived enemy. They'll rally their populations with messages of defiance and sovereignty. They won't surrender their people or their planet without a fight. And so, they'll declare war. They'll launch their most advanced weapons, nuclear missiles, railguns, laser systems, at the ships of the Elohim. It'll be the greatest military mobilization in human history, a united front of all nations against a common foe from the stars. It'll be a spectacular display of human pride and firepower. And honestly, it will be utterly, completely futile. To a Type 5 civilization, our most powerful weapons are like stones thrown at a battleship. Their ships are protected by energy fields that can warp space and time, rendering any physical projectile or energy beam useless. The missiles will detonate harmlessly against invisible walls. The lasers will dissipate without leaving a scratch. The Elohim won't even need to retaliate in a conventional sense. They could disable our entire global power grid with a single thought. They could shut down every computer, every engine, every piece of technology we rely on. The war will be over before it truly begins. It'll be a humbling, terrifying demonstration of the gulf that exists between our civilizations. This futile war will be the final test for humanity. It'll be the war in heaven described in the book of Revelation. Those who choose to fight, who rally behind the flags of their nations and give in to fear and aggression, will be sealing their own fate. They'll be proving to the Elohim that they're not ready for ascension, that they're still bound by the primitive instincts of tribalism and violence. Their act of resistance will be their final judgment. The war won't be a battle for Earth's survival, because Earth is already doomed. It'll be a battle for the soul of humanity, a final, desperate struggle that will only serve to show our creators who is truly worthy of being saved. The final chapter of humanity's story on Earth will not be written by armies or governments. It'll be written by each individual. With the Elohim's presence revealed and Earth's fate sealed, every person will face a simple and profound choice. It's a choice that transcends politics, religion, and nationality. It is the choice to cooperate or to resist, to accept the offer of salvation from these advanced beings, or to fight against them in a futile defense of a world that is already lost. This decision won't be made in a voting booth or on a battlefield. It'll be made in the quiet of the human heart, and it'll be read instantly by the telepathic minds of our creators. To choose cooperation means to let go of fear and pride. It means accepting that a power far greater than our own is in control. It requires trust in a plan that we cannot fully comprehend. This is the essence of faith, reframed for a cosmic age. It's not about believing in ancient stories, but about having faith in the beings who are the source of those stories. It means opening one's mind to their telepathic call, to accept their judgment, and to be ready for the transformation they offer. This path leads to the rapture, to being lifted from a dying world and given a new home among the stars. It's the path to ascension, to joining a higher state of existence on the paradise world of Planet 9. To choose resistance is to cling to the familiar, to the ego, and to the illusion of control. It's a choice born of fear of the unknown and anger at being deemed powerless. It's the path of the world's governments, the path of fighting a war that cannot be won. By choosing resistance, an individual aligns themselves with aggression, with violence, and with the very traits the Elohim are filtering out. They'll be left behind, not as a punishment, but as a natural consequence of their own choice. They will remain on Earth to face the Great Tribulation, the chaos and collapse of society, and then the final fiery annihilation when Planet 9 arrives in 2065. Their choice leads to oblivion. In the end, the stories of the Bible have been guiding us toward this moment all along. Heaven is real. It is Planet 9. The angels are real. They are the Elohim, our alien creators. The rapture is real. It is a selective abduction to save the worthy. And salvation is real. It is the physical transport to a new world. The final judgment is not about which God you worshipped, but about the fundamental nature of your consciousness. Are you a being of love and acceptance, or a being of fear and resistance? We are living in the final days. The choice is ours. Join our makers in the stars, or perish with the world we knew. The ultimate revelation is here. Our destiny is no longer on Earth, it is in the heavens.